Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and the debate is finally over. We have the most insane game you are ever going to witness on my channel. Stay tuned and buckle up for this one. Viewer discretion is advised. You are about to watch the most abuse 9 ships are going to get from one player in any game you will ever see. A huge shout out to Nerf Sekiryu, aka Demo Impact. He has been on the channel before as he set the Hakuyu record back in the day, which at the time was 309,000, I think, which was truly astonishing up until this most recent buff to carriers. And I'm not really going to speak much on the opinion side of things. I'm just going to simply lay out the facts. We have seen both a server-wide damage record and have come within 12 or so points of tying the XP record for the entire game. Just to put that into perspective, as Demo gets an insane drop off on this Marlboro here, and he takes a wide loop. Pay attention to the strategy he uses. This kid is on crack with his movements. There is no wasted movements. If you want a perfect tutorial of how to play CVs, well, you're watching it. He gets a flood on this Marlboro. By the time this Marlboro has thought about moving or repairing, you can see him move slightly forward here. Demo gets another drop off, part of the broken mechanics of the current CV meta, and gets 4 more hits with 3 total floods. Now, of course, you can only flood a ship once, but that is now a permanent flood after 4 hits. So not only did he get the Alpha Strike, but now he has a permanent flood going on that ship. Before that ship him or the other ships have time to think about it, Demo is back in the air with his dive bombers going after destroyers. If there is ever one player I wanted on my team in a carrier, it would be Demo. And before I can even finish that sentence, there is a triple incapacitation, double fire, double defend on that enemy Lucian, as well as about 9k from his health. I don't know what this kid has done to get this RNG, but it is absolutely insane. Within 2 minutes here, Demo has already gotten 75,000 damage, and that number is still ticking with the permanent flood. A true masterclass of CV-manship. Should we call it that? CV-manship? Seamanship? Well, we really don't have time to think about it because he has found another target, a broadside Montana, simply getting into position. He's flying into a bunch of AA, and Demo himself said, yeah, these things are insanely broken. But it doesn't matter, he's going to fly into the AA anyway. And because that carrier popped up, he actually made a quick executive decision to not double back or circle back and drop that Montana again. He decided to move on to the next best target, which was a battleship straight lining in the back of the map. Doesn't get the best drop, we will say. That cone was still a little bit wide, but he still does get not 1, but 2 torpedo hits on that battleship for an additional 10 or 15k off of him. I would like to take a moment here as Demo actually does do a pre-drop, and if you are not familiar with that, you pre-drop to send a few of your planes back to conserve a few of them. I truthfully don't think he needed to do that. However, it was a previous strategy that good carrier players performed before the update, because before this, you could not print out as many planes as the current CV meta is allowing. And what I was trying to mention before, kind of talking about that pre-drop as Demo gets another 10k and double fire on that Montana, was the fact that there were 8 other players also involved in this game. As you can see, Demo utilizing the autopilot feature to make sure his carrier is close, but also not close enough. There were 8 other players in this game, and without Demo, this team does not even come close. Demo is now sitting on 140,000 damage within 4 minutes, and his team is somehow losing. They do have the cap advantage, which I think is beneficial towards the end of this game, but it's truly astonishing. But here we are, yet again, flying into multiple flat clouds for a triple fire and another 9 bomb hits on that Montana. I've never seen, again, we look at some of these XP and damage records, and you're in awe of the RNG that other players get, but I think that Montana actually had fight fire with fire, so the triple fire was not beneficial in this case. And speaking of damage and XP records, Demo came within 42 points, I believe, of the all-time server record. Not just carriers, not just legendary tier ships, not just all-time server record of a lobby, of an actual standard lobby within this game. Just to put that into perspective, we have shattered the damage record and almost set an XP record within 5 days of this new CV rework. It took the game 5 years, right? Out of all the games played in the last 5 years, we have broken almost 2 records in 5 days. That is not an opinion, as Demo gets 4 more torpedo hits and the high caliber here in about 5.5 minutes into this game. But anyway, that is not an opinion, that is an objective fact. It's just a personal pet peeve of mine when people try to use anecdotes or opinions as a means to justify the way something is. If you say, I like the way CVs are now simply because I like it, they do more damage, that's fine. However, you cannot say they're not broken because you like them, right? Do you see the difference there? These things are broken, and this game is essentially more or less proof of that. But here is just truly one of my favorite drops of the entire game. This Lucian's coming for him. His team has evaporated. He gets a perfect drop, perfect dispersion. Good night. Thanks for playing Lucian. And to provide one final fact for those in denial, Wargaming this morning has already come out with a small nerf to the CVs. Once again, Wargaming does not nerf based on popularity or how, whichever part of the community complains enough. If that were true, battleships would be untouchable. They do that based off of obvious changes and balancing factors that, are according to their beloved spreadsheets. But between all of my blabberings, Demo is now over the 200,000 damage marker in about 7 minutes here. Truly nutty how much damage output these carriers can do. And Demo was probably thankful for that because he still has a lot of heavy lifting to do. He's done 200,000 damage and sunk 1 ship so far, and there's still 5 ships on the enemy team. You ask, what has his team done? Well, absolutely nothing. This was one of those peculiar drops, but he still managed to get it with 10 total bomb hits, a triple fire, and a defend. Just absolutely disgusting the RNG he's getting. But again, when you get games like this, when life gives you awful potatoes, you make potato salad. And that is absolutely what he is doing with basically a sledgehammer, right? Instead of just a normal masher, he is using a sledgehammer in this case. That Mino damage con, so he is going back for another drop. This is where I personally need to get a little bit better, although I really don't like playing carriers, but drops like these where you come in at a little bit of a unique angle, this Mino decides to sit still, and there is another triple fire and 3 total defends with 9 bomb hits. Demo, brother, you gotta give me some of this RNG because daddy needs it. I mean, look at it's crazy. 15 fires, 61 total bomb hits, and 4 floods. The floods are a little bit low, however, that is a little more dependent on where you hit on a particular ship, rather. If you hit the bow and stern, as Demo, I know he would tell you that's what he's aiming for, you are more likely to get floods in that case, where bombs are only dependent on whether or not that ship is currently on fire on the section you hit, or if it was on damage con. But here is a kind of a little advanced tactic. He starts his drop through the island and waits just enough to where those torpedoes clear. He gets 4 of them there, and yeah, all but 5,000 HP worth of health from that battleship, but it doesn't matter. His planes can survive. He's flown through so much AA at this point, he should be deplaned. Unfortunately, he's not. He's got a full dive bomber squadron on the ready, and again, he needs it. It actually ended up taking 3 torpedoes to kill that Montana, but he got him, and that is kill number 3. On top of that, the enemy carrier, doesn't have much left to shoot at. There's 1 cruiser and Demo, and as you can see, Demo actually just got put on what I believe is a permanent flood. But he really doesn't have time to think about it, and in the meantime, he has an Alaska to drop, which he hit for another 3 defends and another triple fire. Absolute insanity, the RNG this kid gets. Somebody stop him, all right? Well, it looks like Wargaming did with the nerf to carriers already. But he's got his planes looped around for another attack, and let's see what he gets this time. Oh, only a double fire. Boo-hoo. Yeah, 5 fires, and he is now over the 300,000 damage mark. One of his friendly teammates does something and gets an elimination there, and now it is a 2-on-2. However, Demo is flooding, and he will need to put that out. Of course, your damage con is automatic on carriers. You cannot control it. That is when Demo gets the third and fourth elimination on his team, and that is when the enemy CV pops up. He does pre-drop here as he is, finally, after going through the entire enemy team running low on planes at the end of this game. And we do know that legendary tier CVs, for the most part, do have very strong AA. He gets one drop off, and that is when he sends out the next squadron of torpedo planes. Something to note about legendary tier carriers is you want to use torpedo planes for the most part. I do have a clip of me dropping one with bombers and getting a triple fire, but you want to make sure they're either off damage con. A good way to do that is look at the timer at the top of the screen. It takes 60 seconds for that damage con to go out. Demo knows, however, that he is pretty low in his health, and he has to get a lot of damage off of this guy. Also, the reason you don't want to use bombers is the bombs will shatter on the decks of the carriers. Yes, another great fact about legendary tier carriers is they have thick enough decks to where the bombs will shatter. So that pre-drop comes in really handy as Demo gets another 4 torpedo hits and another 20 or so K off of that Hakuryu. This is going to be a close one, though, as Demo only has 2 planes left after using multiple squadrons in a row. He starts this drop well before the island, so that way the reticle is nice and closed there, the cone of aiming. He gets the drop off. He somehow avoids that flak. American planes do have a little bit more health, so they can sometimes survive a situation like that. He gets those torpedoes off, 4 more hits, an additional 20-ish or so thousand damage off that Hakuryu, and he needs to get a permanent fire now. As you will see, most of these bombs, unless they hit the superstructure, are probably going to shatter. But that Hakuryu, as we mentioned, is now off of his damage con. And just like we said, 12 shatters, but he gets the permanent fire, and that is going to do it for the enemy CV. However, this one's going to be close. Demo's damage con is still on cooldown. He gets the Clear Skies medal. Fortunately, he does not flood. It wouldn't have killed him anyway. However, it was so close. Clear Sky, Kraken Unleashed, Dev Strike, High Caliber, Confederate, Liquidator, and Unsinkable. Absolute insanity, did I not tell you? For a staggering 5,458 XP. Absolutely insane. Anyway, I could say so much about this one and so much of these silly comments I have gotten recently. I know that carriers needed to be a little bit stronger, and it's already obvious this was overdone as Wargaming is introducing a hot fix, but these things were way overtuned. I'm glad Demo gave me this game, but I never want to see a performance like that again. Demo should be arrested, locked under the jail for being as good and disgusting as he is. Demo, I love you, kid. Shout out to Demo. I will link his channel in the comments down below if you want to go send him hate mail. No, I'm just kidding. Go subscribe. He is an excellent player to learn from and to watch. But that is going to do it for our Friday feature. You guys have a fantastic weekend. I will be out of town, so I won't catch a stream. But I love you guys. Aaron out. Peace.